Welcome to A Dose of Health, your quick but deep dive into practical health and wellness tips from New Jersey experts, all in 15 minutes or less. I'm your host, Kate Chericello-Tente, a certified fitness professional and creator of Healthy in the Garden State. This mini-series is part of our mission to highlight the people, places, and resources all working to help New Jersey be its healthiest. Find these episodes and all resources from Healthy in the Garden State at healthyinthegardenstate.com. A zero-waste, sustainable store. That is what today's guest owns. Janette Filbert Spiezio is an entrepreneur and owner of Sustainable Haus Mercantile, a zero-waste refill shop in Summit, New Jersey, with shipping options if not in the area. Janette is the designer and maker of many of the products they sell, specializing in upcycled cotton textiles to make useful zero-waste swaps. Sustainable Haus sells over 3,000 zero-waste solutions, and Janette is passionate about educating to create healthier homes, healthier families, and a healthier planet. Janette, thanks so much for talking with me today.
Thank you, Kate. It's a pleasure to be here.
Right back at you. And what does being more sustainable mean?
Well, so I run a zero waste refill store, and a lot of people think of that as just anti-plastic. And I don't think of it like that at all. I think of it more like non-toxic, because anytime that we use plastic or chemical ingredients that are dangerous to our health or the environment, we are polluting not just the planet, but ourselves. And so sustainability means avoiding all of those things that are not good for us or the environment. And that's really what the premise of the store is about. So you will find that we don't sell single-use plastic, with very few exceptions. Actually, there's no exceptions. We sell a little bit of plastic, but nothing single-use. And it's a very little bit. For example, anytime you're using a cloth, whether it's clothing or rags that are polyester, synthetic, nylon, microfibers, that's all a plastic. Plastic is chemical based. It pollutes the planet forever. So for us, sustainability is about creating a lifestyle with non-toxic solutions that are healthy for us and the planet.
Now, let's pretend that the person listening has never heard anything about this topic before and it's brand new. How do you, when you talk to someone, where this is new to them, what do you do to explain the need for their own personal attempt to change for being more sustainable? Like, I think that a lot of press gets to the planet aspect, but what about to a person? Like, why should they care?
Well, I think what we find the most, and this is probably not a direct answer, it's somewhat indirect, but what we find the most in terms of our customer base, it's people who have had or have health issues, whether it's personally or within their family or their children or their parents, and they tend to really get it. I find that if I try to convince people just that it's, they should just want to use less plastic, if you don't get it, I don't know that you're going to. And so what I say is, I'm also co-founder of Beyond Plastics New Jersey. We're a group of the national organization Beyond Plastics, run by Judith Eng, former EPA commissioner. And so we talk a lot about plastic because it's something that I think is gaining a lot of awareness these days.
Yes.
And every piece of plastic ever produced is still here. Right? And it's either in landfill, it might still be in use, it's breaking down in the ocean, it's been burned or incinerated, but the chemicals remain in the atmosphere. So every bit of plastic ever produced is still here. It's all petroleum based and it's never natural. So when we talk about it breaking down, sometimes you'll see like, piece of cotton will break down in 6 months, and a carrot will break down in 2 weeks, and a plastic diaper might break down in 100 years. It breaks down into micro and nanoplastics. So microplastics are the really like tiny ones, and nanoplastics are the ones you need a microscope to see generally, and they're the ones that are breaking through the blood organ barrier. So our bodies, yours and mine and everybody's, have plastic in them. All our bodies have plastic in them, and we don't know how to get it out. And plastic is always toxic. Plastic is petroleum based with lots of other chemicals to make it, hard and pliable and colorful and, doing all the things we want it to do. It makes it so wonderful. And it's not just plastics, but all the other chemicals in our personal care, in our cleaning products. And I think that at some point people just wake up and they're like, I think we can do better. Because when you learn that you can do all the same personal care and you can clean your house with clean ingredients that don't harm the planet or our health, you want to do better. And it's really not hard. It's just, and it's not even more expensive. It's just changing and it's learning, because we don't know how to use a bar of shampoo because we were never taught.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. I mean, when I started to get really kind of more focused on this issue is when I was giving birth to my son, and just to really start to see these studies about the amount of plastics that stay in our bodies for decades, and just all of the issues that they are finally starting to see that are associated with these things. And there are a plethora of resources out there, thankfully, but like you said, it's learning. It's opening our eyes to it. It's working on being more and more aware. What might you tell someone who feels overwhelmed by it?
Really simply, just one step at a time. And it can be overwhelming, but once you start to understand the breadth of the issue, you want to do better. And you want to do better for yourself. You want to do better for your own health, for your family, any children or people you're caring for. And um, I it is a learning curve, right? You learn how to use a shampoo bar, or you switch to powder detergent, or you switch to a refillable liquid detergent, and you find a product that works for you. And we like to get people started on things that are great, like really effective and wonderful options. And they usually come in the first time they refill. And we have over 3,000 products in the store. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. You can switch from aluminum to stainless steel and nonstick cookware to stainless steel and wooden utensils and all kinds of stuff. So, and there's lots of gifty things. There isn't anybody who comes in and can't find something that appeals to them. So we just want you to come in and find that one thing and learn about the idea of switching to shampoo bar, doing a refill. And once you do that one thing and it works for you, you're like, oh, this isn't that hard. And then they do another thing. And it's funny because sometimes people will come in from a long distance. They'll drive 3 hours to come to us because there's nothing like us around. And when they come in, they're just like a kid in a candy store, and they'll stay for 2 hours. It is not uncommon. And, sometimes I say to people, do that next time. Like, don't get that today. Put that on your list for next time, because there's only so many changes that your person can handle in a period of time. So yeah, switch to the shampoo bars, get your routine set, move to a better laundry detergent. PS, a very popular brand that starts with a T and ends with a DE, has 80 some ingredients listed on their website. And if we're worried about getting chemicals out of our water treatment facilities and cleaning up our water supply, and we're worried about pharmaceuticals, what about those 80 some chemicals in our laundry detergent, right? So you start with one thing and you get used to it, and then you're coming in to refill, and then you just say to us, you say, what do you do for dish detergent, dish soap? What do you do for hand soap? And people come in, they just ask questions, and you see them making that next change. And I think that's really the way to go. I think the people that tend to do more like really big bulk changes and really take on a lot are people who've been thinking about it a long time, have a health issue, or come from a really far distance. Um, and that happens too, but we try to do lots of how-tos, and we're a phone call away if something works. And if you're having an experience that isn't great with a particular product, we want you to call and ask about it, because chances are you just tweak how you're doing it.
Yes. And you know what? I got the
So,
chance to go to your store recently, which was such a treat. And the only reason that I wasn't there longer was because my toddler was getting so antsy. But it is that kind of place that you want to be in, and you want to read everything and learn more about each product. And I was excited with what I found just on my first visit alone. It's amazing how many tools are out there and just changes that are very accessible to make happen. Now, Janette, how did you become passionate about this whole issue, so to speak, of sustainable living?
so I'm a first generation American, and I think out of necessity. My parents came here when they were about 30, and within a year they had me, and they had no money. And my mother came from a farming background, and they were scrappy. So that was part of my upbringing, and I learned how to sew and cook and make things, and that, I think, was the basis. But we've always lived sustainably. I made my own clothes, and still make some, but not so many anymore. Mostly thrifted now. Um, you just start to live this kind of lifestyle, and then one day you get married, you make a few changes, you kind of get away from it, and you wake up and you're thinking, what am I doing? Like, I'm buying deodorant at the grocery store? No, that's not me. And you kind of go back. And so I woke up one day after working 30 years in corporate America, and I said, I wonder what's in this green laundry detergent, right? It's got the little green labels, and it's seems to be all plant-derived ingredients. What's really in here? And as I looked, I couldn't figure it out. I was researching, and it was hard. And I just said, okay, I'm a maker. I'm going to make my own laundry detergent, because I'm pretty sure I can do better than this. And that's when I got really deep. And then I started to read books. And I think that one thing that we often see is we see a lot of influencers that don't do the research, right? They just repeat what others say. They read what a label says, but they're not doing the independent research. I read the research articles that come out of universities, and I read the whole paper and the whole study, and I question things. So I think intellectual curiosity, and just coupled with a need to be more scrappy, led me to all of this. And I just woke up and I said, I don't want to wake up and have cancer one day and know that I want to know that I did everything I could.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for creating this now to share with everyone else too. I know just being at the store, that was amazing. And you're at farmers markets as well, and you have a lot of resources online. So please share where our audience can find you and connect with you.
Sure. So we have over 100,000 followers on Instagram, which is just Sustainable Haus, and it's spelled sustainable, Haus, which is the German spelling, Sustainable Haus. That's our website, sustainablehaus.com. We have over 3,000 items. If you come into the store, if you're in New Jersey, bring your own containers, clean and dry, anything, plastic, metal, glass, whatever you like. We're at the Summit Farmers Market mid-April through December, every Sunday from 8 a.m. till 1 p.m. And yeah, we're around.
Excellent. Janette, thank you so much for sharing all of this with me today.
Kate, it was a pleasure meeting you the other day, and your son. It was great to talk to you today, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks. Thanks for what you're doing. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to click that subscribe button on YouTube. And if you know someone who would enjoy this episode, please do share it with them. If you'd like to connect, partner, or have ideas for future topics you'd like us to cover, reach out anytime at healthyinthegardenstate.com. Until next time, I'm Kate Chericello Tente, and this is A Dose of Health from Healthy in the Garden State.